Hello, my name is Lakin and welcome to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastically wonderful day. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I sort and organize all my Lorcana cards. Now, like most trading card games, there's a lot of cards, and as Lorcana has just released its 7th set, each set having 204 cards, more if you count enchanted versions, promo versions, and all the other stuff. So it's a lot to keep track of, especially as I am someone who doesn't just want one of every card. I want 5 of every card. I want one for a pretty binder to all keep and be able to look at, and then I want 4 to be able to have a complete playset of every card, because that's how many you can have of each card in a deck. So needing to keep track of, okay, do I have my full playset of this card? Do I even have it in the binder yet? Without having to like sort through everything and go through all my decks and all this stuff, I've figured out a really nice and simple way that works for me, and I will leave a blank version of this Notion template down below in the description, if possible. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's down there. So that way, if you like this, you can do it as well. The only downside is this doesn't have any set 7 or Arcasia's Island cards in it. It's just set 1 through set 6. But because I haven't opened my set 7 boxes yet, I will hopefully soon, but not yet. So that's why they're not in any of this stuff. But before I get started with showing you the Notion page, let me kind of show you really quickly how I sort and organize the physical cards. Okay, so before we get into the Notion, I want to show you where I'm storing these cards IRL. So we have my 2 binders here. The first one has a design on the front that I just whipped up using some of like the promotional art. And then in the binders on the first page, I have the 6 like D100th anniversary Disney cards, and then some of my enchanteds on this page. But I just recently got the new premium binder, so I think I'm gonna put my enchanteds in there, and then I just kind of have one of every card in here. I'm still missing a few. Like right here, I have a spot open for it, but just a few. Most of all the sets, I have at least one of every single card. And then I also have, like the puzzle pieces and the promos that I got during that time, like with League and things like that at my local game store. So I have that for all the different sets. If you want to, I can like slowly and betterly flip through this, but on the sides of them, I have the 3 sets can fit in one of these like white binders, and they're the D-ring binders. So that way the pages don't mess up. But so this one has the first chapter, Rise of the Floodborn and Into the Inklands, and then this one I printed out before the 6th set came out. So I have to reprint this one, but it's now time with set 7. It's now time to get a 3rd binder. But underneath the binders, I have these 4 Dragon Shield like card tray displays. I got these from my local game store, and I like this option way better than the like just cardboard boxes that you most of the time get, because I had one of those at first, but I just don't like how they look. These seem way more, even though they're made out of cardboard, still they're way more sturdier. So we have those, and these 2 are yellow,
These two are purple, those two are green, these two are red, blue, and then gray. And so obviously as more come, I'm gonna have to get more. But for right now, they all fit really nicely in these 4. And then like if I pull this one out, I can show you how it's displayed. So we have one of these tabs just so that way it's right at the front and I can kind of see what color it is. And then I have, these are energy cards. I have energy cards in here. I have, let me see if I can see some of the others. I have the extra puzzle pieces and like the card at the end of the pack. I have a bunch of those. Just a bunch of cards that would essentially be trash. I'm putting little labels on them and they say the name of the card. For this one, it says an action, and then it says the collector number, what set it's in like 3 letters, and then like what set that is. So this is Into the Inklands, which is set 3. But then also I have like this one on a Buffy card, Augustin Madrigal, and his like smaller name on there, Clumsy Dad, and then his collector number. So like, I don't have any in there of Augustin, but that's because he is in a deck. But like Alan Adale, that's the main word, and then the Rockin' Rooster, that's the tinier word on there. So that's what that is. And I keep 4 of every card, and they just all fit in here. And then at the very back, I have this like nice little sponge. So that way, when it gets full, I can still kind of push on it a little bit and pull things out. And that way I don't accidentally overstuff it and possibly damage my cards. And one other thing I have with all my cards is they are all perfect fitted. So that way they're safe. Because I like to, when I'm playing a deck, I like to double sleeve my cards, one with a perfect fit and then with an outer sleeve, like this card right here. So I have the outer sleeve, but then you can see that it does have a second sleeve on there. So that way it just gives it a little bit more protection. But the thing I use for perfect fits is these BCW opaque inner sleeves. Again, getting them from my local game store, but they're not that bad of a price. I think they're like $4 for 100 of these, and I really like them. But yeah, that is how I organize my cards IRL. I keep them divided by color, so that way it's, I chose to keep them divided by color versus by set, because if I'm choosing to build a deck with like yellow and red, I can just pull these 4 out and know that any cards in here I can build a deck with, versus like, okay, I want to use this card, it's in this set, okay, now I gotta pull it out of there and things like that. So this is just the easiest way for me. And now with that, let's go ahead and look at how Adele is in Notion.
So now that I've shown you how I sort and organize the physical cards, which is probably the most important aspect, the writing of the tabs does take a lot of work. But once you get into the groove of writing those tabs, and the same with this Notion page, once you get into the groove and once you have everything set up, it's really easy and really simple to find stuff and to add and keep everything up to date. So here's the Notion page. It just says Lorcana, and we have Mickey here in, I think that's a Halloween outfit. And then we have this photo of Lorcana trading card game, very basic. And then I put Amber, Amethyst, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and Steel right here. I just thought it'd be a cute little like border before, like, here's the top, like just cute stuff. And then we get down to this, because this is the entirety of the Notion page. I love the look of super cute Notion pages. I love how they look, but I need a more functional page, and oftentimes if I try to make a cute page, it just doesn't work. I never end up using it. So might not be the cutest, but it works. So I have the ultimate set list which has all the sets. So we have a tab that says all sets. And then we have first chapter divided to where it's only the first chapter cards. Rise of the Floodborn has the same, and then it just keeps going. So if we look at what data I'm actually tracking and keeping track of, we have the name of the card. So we have the main character's name and then their like subcategory name. So like Bashful, Hopeless Romantic. We have the card number that it is, what set it's in, and then we have 5 check marks. This first check mark is to help me identify if the card is in the binder. So I know there's one down here, like this one, Pinocchio Star Attraction. I have 4 cards, but I had to take it out of my binder so that I could have 4 cards for a deck that I was playing. So I have a play set, but I don't have one in the binder. So that way I can quickly see, okay, I have all the cards. It may look like I have all 4 of them for a play set, so I can just, if I get an extra one of that card, I can sell it back to my local card shop. But this helps me remember that no, I still need one for the binder. So we have all 5 check marks, and then this right here is, I put a number between 0 through 5, and that kind of lets me know what's complete and what's not. And I use that in a sense to use this ISO category, and I filter this, or I filter this to where it has the complete is anything less than 5. So once I have 5 of a card, it will not show up on this ISO in search of category. And then we have the color. I was trying to use the hearts to help indicate what color it was, but it was getting really tedious to do that because it's not as simple. Like when I'm filling it out in this form, I can't add the heart. I have to open up the tab and add the heart, which was just getting really tedious. So a lot of the later sets don't have it, and I just did it this way. And that way it's easier for me to search through the cards, especially because I have another version of this checklist that's divided by color, but we'll get there. And then the last one is the rarity. So that way I can be like, why do I only have one of this card? Oh, it's because it's a legendary. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get. And also if it's a legendary, I can be like, okay, it may be a little bit more expensive if I need to go and purchase it. So it just kind of helps me to know what's going on. And then also the same would be if I didn't have any of Chip Friend Indeed, which is a common, I'd be like, okay, that's highly unlikely. And I can just go and search and see if I've just forgot to put in the information because it's a common card. So it'd be super unlikely, and it would be super weird if I had all these other cards, all these rares and legendaries and super rares and uncommons, and missing a bunch of a common card. So those are all the different categories that I track. I don't track if I have foils of that version. I also don't track the enchanteds. I may start tracking enchanteds because I think I'm wanting to start collecting them. Not having play sets of them, but just like one of most of the enchanteds that I think are pretty. So I originally was trying to just make it to where I just had one enchanted from each set. So then like right now I'm searching for my enchanted for set 6 and obviously the enchanted for set 7. But there's so many cute enchanteds that have come out that it's getting harder and harder to just pick one. And so I think I'm going to just slowly collect those because they are a little bit more expensive. So it's going to be a slower collection. But yeah, those are not documented on here. The same with foilings, and also promos aren't documented on here because mostly I've just been collecting the promos that you can get through your local game store. I haven't been able to get any of the promos, like the one that's in that board game, the one that you could get with the Moana 2 movie, and obviously the ones that are promos overseas. I haven't been able to get those or any of the ones from the like regionals. I think that's what it's called, like the Lorcana Championships. Besides the entry level one for the Dragonfire, because I went to one and so I was able to get that one. But we're getting off track here. I have this for all of them, and whenever I do add a new card, it's really easy to just quickly click here, and I do have to click this and manually update this. It's not smart. It might be, and I just don't know it, but they're not connected. So if I was to add one here, I would have to change this from a 2 to a 3 physically. But it's easier to track it for the in search of with this complete versus like having this check mark right here, because like it could be like that Pinocchio, this 4th check mark could be checked off, but the binder one isn't. And so yeah, and the same with the set. It's easy for me to sort them and filter them to where it's just one set, because I do have one where it has every single card in all the sets in here, which I think this needs to be properly sorted by card name. Yeah. Let me save that. So this has every single card in it, and I could calculate how many that is. But the main thing I like to calculate how many cards are there are is the ISO one. So I have 289 cards that I don't have all 5 of them, which honestly isn't that bad. It's a little over a set. And so out of 6 sets, I think that's pretty good. And also with this, I can, with the in search of, I can sort it. I can sort it another way and do by complete and do descending. So that way I can be like, okay, these 8 right here, I only need 1 more to complete my set. So I can just quickly see if my local shop has them and knock them out. And so that way I can slowly build them up. But I don't always have that one there. I mostly just have it by, don't even know why I have it by set. Actually, I can't remember why I placed that there. But, and then we have the exact same list, but it's just sorted by color. So I have all the amber cards here. And so this way I can quickly see all the yellow cards that I have, how many of them, and things like that. The same with the purple, the green, the red, the blue, and the steel. I have them all here, and this is how, like I showed you with my physical cards, this is how I sort my physical cards. So this is the easiest way for me to like do it. The only time I use the ultimate set list is whenever I put in a new set, and I'll add, like, I'm fixing to add set 7, so I'll type it in and I'll type all the cards one by one, go all the way down until I hit 204, and then once I open it, I can quickly just kind of go through it that way before I sort it by color. But if when I'm adding cards randomly, like say I either bought a pack or won a pack in a tournament, I'll just sort it by color and then quickly put the colors where they're supposed to go and do it this way instead of trying to find them in the ultimate set list. This is mostly how I see it. And also, I like doing it this way. I don't have an in search of because I don't want the colors mixed up, but every once in a while I will sort this, the complete on the colors, because oftentimes my favorite colors are yellow and purple, so I will prioritize those cards and try to fill those up, which as you can see, I have a good portion of the yellow cards. I'm not missing too terribly many. And the same is the case for the purple as well, because those are just my favorite colors to play, and it just makes sense for me to have all of them. Now, this stuff right here, you may not be interested in, but I like it, and I have left it in the template. Again, if I'm able to put it, it'll be down below, but these are my decks. I do need to update this part. This part I haven't really touched in a little bit. I have a couple more decks and I've changed some of them a little bit, but I have my deck, and then I have my essentially my deck list of like all the 1-drops in my deck, all the 2-drops, all the 3-drops, the 4-drops up to 6, because I like to play on the smaller end of things. And so this was my deck, and then I tweaked it a little bit. So I just duplicated that and said it's deck A version 1.1, and these are my changes to it. And then went into the Inklands released, did this, prepping for a competition, so I dropped it down to where it's just 4 is the highest one. And I like to do this because I can see how a deck has evolved, or if I make changes, like say I did this niche down and I was like, wow, that was awful, I want to change it back to how it was. I have the deck list from previously that I can quickly just swap out the cards I need to without too much like mental power and being like, oh, was this card in my deck? Or was that from like 3 versions ago? And then I also have league info right here. I haven't touched this in a while, but I like it, and I'm probably gonna get back into it, but it's mainly the date of when I went to league, which league is like when I go to my local game store and play with other people. The win-loss ratio that I did. So like on this day, I won 1, I lost 2, and I drew 0. So, and then what deck I was playing, and then who my opponents were, and like what I did. Like with this opponent, Walter, I won both the games. With Ty, I lost both the games. But then with this one, game 1, I played against this person, and I won 1, lost 2. And then in round 2, I got the bye. In round 3, I won 1, lost 2. And in round 4, I won 1 and lost 2. So that's how I got a win-lose ratio of 1 out of 3. I got a bye, so that was technically a win, but I lost all my other ones. But it looks like I won like 1 of the matches out of the 3 matches that we played against each person, so that way I can see kind of how my deck is doing. And then my thoughts on the games that I played, the challenges that we could do to try to get extra stickers, what they were, and which one of the challenges I was able to complete. And then this last one is just decks I find interesting. This was on Dreamborn. You can like look at decks, put a deck on here that I would maybe want to try to copy, especially because they have these nice, beautiful pictures that are just easily put on there, super quick and simple. But for the most part, I like coming up with my own decks, even if I'm not the best at it. I recently built a Moana themed deck, and I didn't follow any rules, and it just feels more fun that way, especially as someone who is not like super into the meta game. It sometimes doesn't seem really worth it to copy other people's decks, but every once in a while I'll see one that I really want to try, and why not? Maybe one day. This is my Lorcana spreadsheet. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. At first, when I tried sorting my collection and organizing it, I tried the Lorcana app, but it didn't have enough. It just wasn't enough for me, and it was getting confusing. Then I tried an Excel sheet, but Notion with all these different things really made it worth it, especially because if I decide one day I want to track if it's an inkable card or an uninkable card, I can just add something here and do that. Same with if I do want to try to document if I have a foil of it or not, I could quickly add that as well. And it's just really versatile without negating all the information I already have on here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. If you have a different way of organizing and sorting your Lorcana cards, please let me know down below. Maybe you have a way better system than I do, and I'm always looking to improve. Always looking for an easier and better and smoother way to track my cards. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and if not, I hope this video made your day just a little bit better. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!